Fabián de la Rosa was born on May 5, 1869 in Baco, Manila. It was a turbulent time in the Philippines, a country aching to break free from the throes of Spanish colonial rule.
In 1872, a pivotal event in the history of Spanish colonization in the Philippines took place. I am referring to the execution of the three priests, Gomez, Burgos, and Zamora, to whom Rizal dedicated his second novel, El Filibusterismo. Fabián de la Rosa was only 3 years old when this event happened, and it shook the conscience of the nation.
But it was also a period that saw the rising of the new ilustrado class, made up of Filipinos with money and education. They became the new patrons of the arts. In the major cities of the Philippines, Spanish was widely spoken. Fabián's parents, Marcos de la Rosa and Gorgonia Cueto, made sure that the young boy grew up immersed in culture and the arts. He was, after all, descended from a family of artists, including his uncle, Simon Flores y de la Rosa, a noted painter of religious icons, and his aunt, Mariana de la Rosa, who taught him to paint landscapes. Fabián was 22 years old when he painted La Perla de Lucban, his oldest known work. The year was 1891.
I am standing in front of the oldest surviving painting of Fabián de la Rosa. It is entitled La Perla de Lucban, portrait of Maria Isabel Nepomuceno, signed and dated in 1891 when he was 22 years old. She happens to be my great-grandmother, and this picture has been hanging in our living room for more than 100 years.
In 1893, Fabián would enroll at the Escuela Superior de Pintura, Escultura y Grabado, and receive his first formal art training under the tutelage of Don Agustin Saez.
In 1895, the Spanish colonial government staged a fair which exhibited agricultural, industrial, and cultural objects created by Filipinos. Fabián de la Rosa was one of the artists who exhibited. It was his first time to be exhibited publicly. He was at that time a student of the Escuela Superior de Pintura, Escultura y Grabado, and he showed a work named Idilio, which unfortunately is no longer around.
But it was not all art for Fabián. He was also a masterful fencer and took time to give lessons at the Sala de Armas, a fencing school established by the brothers Antonio and Juan Luna along Legarda Street in Manila. Meanwhile, a revolution was brewing in Manila, spurred by the writings of the country's foremost thinker, Jose Rizal. Following his execution, an angry nation would rise up in arms against its oppressive colonial masters.
Well, you have to take into account many events before De La Rosa made his painting in Manila. Well, You have first the execution of Jose Rizal on December 30, 1896, which sparked the Philippine Revolution. Then, of course, you have the defeat of the Spanish Armada in the hands of Commodore Dewey, Manila Bay in May 1898. June 12, Aguinaldo declared independence from Spain. And in December, the Philippines was sold from Spain to the United States through the Treaty of Paris. As you can see, there was a chain of events. Spanish rule was declining and a new era is coming into place. So this will be reflected in De La Rosa's two Manilas. Actually, De La Rosa's two Manilas. A Manila of Spain and the Manila of the United States.
It was also in the year 1898, just as the second phase of the Philippine Revolution breaks out, that Fabián de la Rosa receives word of a scholarship grant to the Madrid Art Academy. Needless to say, the grim situation at his home country prevents him from leaving. The following year, 1899, a new colonial power emerges as the United States wrestles control over Manila. Fabián would be arrested and imprisoned for a day on accusations of participating in a plot against the Americans. He was released through the efforts of American consul Oscar Williams, who later commissions him to paint historical scenes. Among his works was a painting entitled The Death of General Lawton.